I grew up in Murfreesboro all of my life. That's about an hour away from where we live now. And it was in the city. I lived right by the main road. I went to public school system there.
Right in the middle of the city.
Right in the middle of the city. Right there. And honestly, it's crazy how much the city has grown since I was even born in 1996. When Kevin and I started dating, we often took trips out to the family farm, would drive his Jeep around the tops of the hills and stuff like that, and it really just started to feel right to me. And didn't feel like I had a very hard transition after we got married. It was a little bit hard living an hour away from my family, but it all just felt right. As I started getting to know animals more, as I started to get connected to the land more, just the feeling of being right, this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, just kept on developing. And it wasn't a hard transition. It was instant. It wasn't a question about it.
Wow, that's great.
There were a few things that surprised me, and I had to get used to, but...
like what?
Like what?
Surprised you?
Oh,
Nothing?
This is funny. It's a funny thing, but actually doing things like using my hands, getting involved fully. A lot of the times, my dad did a lot of great things for us, but he would be particular about what we did, and he would just instruct instead of letting us do. And I think that's a part of being a girl and a part of being a third child, is that I just didn't get as much hands-on experience that way. Okay. But
you have to do things here.
Yes, you have to do things. We work from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
If you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Yes. No. And so a lot of things like learning how to use tools like circle saws and drills and grabbing animals. Grabbing a chicken, grabbing a goat, being hands-on with everything is just something that was really different. I remember one of the first things we did was build garden beds, and I looked at Kevin and I was like, how should I open this bag of soil? She's like, open it how you want to.
I didn't know how to answer.
I was like, well, I didn't want to do it wrong. And so it's really just been stepping out of the box and just taking hold and doing has been the biggest.
And that one came from, we got it just 2 weeks ago.
Hey, cat!
It was about 7 months ago we had got our first goats. And that was our first real livestock animal that we had on the property. We fenced off this field behind us. It's just adjacent to our house. And we got our first herd of goats. It was 7 of them. We actually got them on my birthday. So I like to call them my birthday goats. And that's how our whole journey started. From there, it wasn't even a month later before we had hogs. And then a few months later, we got our first chickens and sheep and calves and donkeys, and the list just keeps on going on and on. If you're in a position similar to me and are just starting out and trying to find exactly where to go, my one piece of advice would just jump in and get started. Whether it's chickens or goats or whatever you're interested in, just get started. If you want to do, if animals are too much and you want to do gardening, find something that you like in particular and practice growing it and practice preserving it, and just really start to hone in those skills, and it'll start spreading throughout the rest that you do. I can't tell you how much information I've learned just in this around 7 months. So many things I never thought I would even know. but there's just so much information out there. Use your resources, use the internet, get books. And probably one of my biggest pieces of advice is not going into debt doing this. I know that kind of sounds difficult, but it's really easy to go overboard with what you think you might need. You know, the big red barn and white fence type of farm aren't typically the most profitable farms. It's really getting down to using the material that you have at hand, the scraps. Looking on Craigslist, looking on Facebook, finding scrap rolls of fencing and old T-posts. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be functional for what you need. And keeping yourself out of debt while doing it is definitely very important. The easiest part about having animals is buying the animals. The hard part comes along when you have to put up fencing. You realize your fencing isn't secure enough for your goats, so you have to support it. Then you have to find waterers and feeders, and you have to consistently feed them, overwinter them. There's just a lot of components that really start to add up. And so that's when you really want to consider your costs and just try and keep them as low as possible, just so you can really pursue this life that you're wanting to live. And talking about being a city girl, that was something that I really had to get over myself, was that I was so used to having new things. I was so used to everything looking nice. But just because it doesn't look nice doesn't mean that it's not functional. Just because I didn't pay $350 for the roll of wire at the store, and I found a free roll of wire off of Craigslist that was back in the bush, you know. There's no difference between those two items. They're both fully functional for what I was trying to do, and it saved us money being able to do that. But I am happy to say at this point, Kevin and I have both gone full-time at the farm. So we're both working here from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every night, just going hard.